Hi, it's Janie with the League-Kempner house in Galveston, and today I'm doing something fun. One of the perks of having a YouTube channel and having so many of you wonderful followers is that occasionally people will send us a product to review. And since we don't have a lot of tools at the house, most of them are things that I have loaned the house. It's nice to collect our own, and this one could come in really handy. It's a cordless brad nailer. So I have one that works off an air compressor, which you have to drag the compressor around. It has to be plugged in. You have to have a hose to it. But this one is battery powered, and it shoots brads up to 1 3/8 inch. And I actually have a really critical project to do with that. So today I'm going to unbox it and let you guys check it out with me and see how it works. So we have a manual. We don't need that. We might need that. We'll come back to that later. But it comes in a nice case. Let's see what we've got in here. And I did take a peek earlier at home because I wanted to see if it came with brads. Oh, look, it comes with safety glasses. That's important when using one of these because you can get an errant fire on these things, and last thing you want is a high-speed brad coming at your eye. Oh, look, it also has 2 batteries. That's nice. Now I'm wondering if they're charged, if we're going to have to take a pause and charge those, and a charger. And some replacement parts. I will have to look at the manual for that. It did have some brads, but I actually bought a bunch on Amazon. And let me show you what I bought on Amazon. Because of our climate down here, we can't use stuff like that. Oops, Amazon. It's opened in a mess. Okay, whoops. That made a mess. Okay. These look like the same thing that we got here, but they are not. These are galvanized. I don't have my glasses on. Yes, galvanized. So they are galvanized. So we can't use normal nails down here. The climate is too harsh and everything rusts. So I'm going to get rid of those, take them home. But we bought galvanized ones from Amazon. They're a little harder to find. And these don't go very deep. They're really for like upholstery projects or fine nailing, like maybe shoe molding, trim molding, but I actually have something I can use them on today. So basically, you just add your battery, load your nails, and point and shoot. So it's just as simple as that. But they do, I don't know if you can see, they do have a tiny little head on them. So we want to put that up. It's just like loading your stapler. Remove this little plastic shield. Because what'll happen, I don't have a battery on here, so I can do this with my finger, is that depresses like a safety. And when it's depressed, you can nail. So if it's not depressed, you can't accidentally fire. And it has that little rubber tip on it to not damage your wood. So you press, fire, press, fire. So it's really simple to use. I can get the cover off the battery. I have no hand strength. Not my strong suit. Oh, well. Okay, maybe reading those instructions would be good. I just noticed it's got a little release on there because that's the same release that locks the battery in place. Oh, and it is charged because, look, the light came on. All right, I'm going to point this away from myself and pull the trigger. Notice nothing fires. I'm going to depress it. keeping my fingers, oops, it's not strong enough. And it fired.
And you didn't have your safety vest.
I didn't have my safety vest on. But look, it shot through the cardboard and shot through that. So it does work. I'm going to remove my hand from the trigger and lay that down. Get my safety glasses and go prepare my project to work on. Here's what I'm going to work on. This is where Hurricane Beryl ripped our temporary doors off, and it ripped it off because the door was actually screwed in to the trim molding, and it just pulled the whole thing out. And you can see it's got little small tiny finishing nails. I need to pull those out to kind of clear this up. But I also need to fetch my trim. And it's still screwed on to our temporary board, and I was having trouble getting it out. So naturally, my screws aren't working, so I'm gonna have to go get the channel locks and see if I can turn that by hand and get that off of there. So that may take me a while. I've showed you these before. These are my little baby channel locks that are about to bite the dust, but let's see if I can use them one more time and get a grip. Okay. Nope. Not quite tight enough, so I'll give it about a quarter turn. And there it goes. Oh, no, I got them cockeyed. Try again. Okay. There it goes. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Okay, that worked. Okay, so that is out. Now, this one's going to be harder. I don't have much to grab onto, but what I can do is...
I see this coming.
You see this coming, like a windmill. I can hold this board and unscrew it this way. I can do that.
Now I have to stand up.
And then I can do that. And then I can do that. Oops. And I can do this. You're awful trusting down there with the...
Well, I'm weighing the trouble of standing up with the wrist.
For me to drop it.
Sitting here.
Okay. But it is coming out. Experience. Sometimes. Woo, ta-da! Okay. So now we have our trim. Figure out how it goes on here. Whoops. I think it actually slides behind that. Okay, so it's going to go like that. We're going to nail it. But again, I can't do that until I get all these nails out of here. So I need to go find my special nail pulling pliers. So I'll be right back. I am going to put on my brand new, clear glasses on for this. But I showed you these when I was working on the window in the basement. And I don't know if you could really see what I was doing because I was filming and working one-handed. If you use pliers to grab a nail and try to pull, you bend it. And it doesn't come out, it just breaks. This has this special arc on there where you can grab it, and when you pull, this acts as a lever and it causes that arc. Oops. It just broke off. It's so rusted. I'm so rusted it broke off. Let me see if I can do it. It basically lets you pull straight out. Okay, bad demo, that's too rusted. Let's try another one. Bad demo, too rusted. Okay, and that is why we use galvanized nails. There we go, there we go. See how it pulls straight out? So it changes the angle of the force on the nail. Okay, that looks like a screw coming from the other direction. There's a remnant of a nail. Everything rusts here, nothing is easy. Nope, okay, I'm gonna have to get a hammer and just knock those in instead of pulling them out. I also need to get my ladder and get up because there's one up high.
What now?
I think I might have broken something in my foot. So I was trying to get this out of here, and Heather and I, this is that extendable ladder, and we put it in here and then extended it while it was in here. So I was going to pull it out a little bit and drop it down, and I didn't realize that my foot was under here, and I was dropping it and my hand slipped and it fell all the way down and came down hard on the top of my foot. So now my foot is not in a good way.
But I have to drive home, aren't I?
I'm going to leave my shoe on. I'm going to leave my.
It's so funny.
I'm going to leave my shoe on because it will stop the smelling. Oh, ladder. Right. Now that I have it out here, I have to make it taller. That's probably wise. Okay, ready? I don't want to get my finger in the way. All right. I'm not walking under it. I don't need the bad luck. Nope. Okay. Go grab me the little hammer off the thing. That one broke too, so I'm just going to have to pound them in. Okay. This is not the right hammer either. Interesting. Okay, so this actually has to fit behind here, and this thing has flexed. So this could be a bit of a challenge. I need to go find Yeah, see, it's just not quite in there. I need to go find my little tiny nail bar. Okay, I'm gonna go look for something else. I thought this was going to be a really quick 10-minute project at the most. It's just amazing to me. Beryl ripped these doors off in a split second, and it turned out to be a couple-hour ordeal to get them back on. That 1x3 strip that I was trying to put up was just not slipping into the pocket between the frame and the plaster. And it actually had two little very delicate pieces of trim molding attached to it, and in the end I decided that these needed to come off, and that took a while. They're very thin and very brittle, but once I did get them off, I was able to get the 1x3 seated properly where it fit. And part of the problem is that this house was constructed with the brick walls that you've seen. The windows and doors were added, and then this exterior plaster was done last. So the plaster sits very, very tight to the wood. So there is no leeway or wiggle room to get this thing in. So it was quite a struggle to get it in place. It would have been much, much easier as new construction than it is trying to do a repair such as this. And there's always that one nail that you think you've got everything, but there's one left. But I was able to get it in and then pull out my new battery operated brad nailer, and it worked like a charm. It was so easy to use. As I showed you in the demo, you just push against the wood with the tip, depressing it, and pull the trigger, and it shoots the little brad in. And it was just the perfect size for this job. So getting that 1x3 in place was really the hard part of the job. And I was really glad I didn't have to drag my compressor down and the air hose, because it's up on the 3rd floor, and then I'd have to find an extension cord and get it plugged in. And this was just super easy to have a battery powered tool like this. A lot of tools in the olden days, for those of you like me, were corded, and having these battery tools are just amazing with the power and the longevity of the batteries that they have now. And the fineness of this brad was also great for this little tiny trim piece. It's very delicate. As I said, it's really thin, as you can see here, and it really doesn't need a big nail to hold it up. It just needs a little something to tack it in place. And as I was putting it up, I noticed something down here on the bottom that I wanted to show you. I mean, look how tiny this is fitting in here. And as small as it is, they took the time to cut it out and match it to the trim molding that it was sitting up against. I mean, it just shows you the incredible craftsmanship of this home. Look how they used a coping saw and cut that to fit. You just don't see craftsmanship like this in homes today. Everything's done kind of close enough, and then they caulk the cracks. This, everything is done super tight. No caulk was used anywhere. It was just the skill of the craftsman. So you can see this little piece of trim molding is less than 3/8 of an inch square. So again, this little brad nailer was perfect for that. Anything else would have split this wood. As the wood gets old, it gets dry and it gets very brittle, and it's actually delicate. So the timing was absolutely perfect to be given the opportunity to review this nailer. It really came in handy on this job. If anyone's interested in more information about this brad nailer, I've added a link in our description to the video below, so you can go check it out. But I'm done with this project, and it's time to move on to the next thing. right, I am conducting an experiment. Let's say I have drug out our old sump pump that a plumber left here a long time ago, and even though I tried to return it, they never came and got it. And the hose is really leaky, but I've cut out the leaky section, and I'm trying to clamp it on a garden hose that we were using and see if I can get the sump running and clear out some of that water under the house. And then and this always leaks, it doesn't really work well. So what happens is this is down in the well, and then water leaks here and goes all over the basement. But I'm going to try and see if 2 clamps will solve that problem. If not, what I'm going to do is cut this off short and put it on the pump so that the leak is actually down inside that shaft. But before I go cutting that, I'm going to get it all set up, and my little clamp rusted, but I bought a new one. This is not what I planned on doing today, but whatever, that's how it goes. That just fits on there. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. This just tightens. My screwdriver's too little. I think I can make it work. And this has a float switch on it, so as long as there's water, it runs, and when the float switch drops, theoretically it goes off. It doesn't always do that, so we don't leave it plugged in when we're not here. We need to buy a better permanent one to put in there, but for today, let's see if I can clear some water. So that's it. I probably should have untangled my hose first. So, let's see. I can get this straightened out. This hose is a little too long. I don't have any. Make sure I don't have any kinks in it. Okay, so let's go inside and see if we have an extension cord that will work. Actually, I'm gonna drag all that with me. Oops, I'm stuck on something. All I need is an extension cord that doesn't have a short in it. And I think my extension cord is up on the 3rd floor. Okay, I gotta go to the 3rd floor and get my extension cord. I'll be back. Okay, so here I am with my little sump connected. Well, let me just drag it over here so you can see what's going on. It actually has 2 plugs. So this one plugs into the, I'm tired. This one plugs into the extension cord, and this one plugs in to this. And that so it can operate the cutoff switch. There we go. A little hand. Oh, that's right. I was like, I have nothing left to plug in. It's a circle, but I've had my hand over it. Oh my gosh. Okay, idiot. Okay. So now I'm going to plug it in. And it should not come on because my float is down. Okay, it didn't come on because my float is down. I'm going to take it, lower it in there. Oh, did you hear it? You hear it? Mm-hmm. It's on the bottom. And it's pumping. Let's go look at the hose. So, I have a small leak there at my connection. So this was my, hold on. Let me get some more hose in here. My solution to that is to just lay that back over. So if we do get a leak, it'll leak back in the hole. Okay. We'll see what's happening at the end. Okay. And ta-da! Oops. So we got water. So it's just going to come out here and soak in, or if we want to, stick it in there. Ooh, it stinks over here. That smells like gross slimy mud. We're waiting on our ta-da! Ta-da! Moment. So there it is. All right, so we're just gonna let that run and see if the float cuts it off. I'll have to check on it periodically, and we'll check the water level and see what's going on. So you can see where it is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 bricks down from that lighter colored line. So we'll come back in about 20 minutes and check on it. And I should say what will happen is this will suck the water out here, but the water table is still as high as this water is. So over the course of the day, more water will seep in, and we'll run it some more, and then more water will seep in, and it will drop the water table here under the house a little bit quicker than it would naturally. So that's the goal. I never did get back and film the water level, so this abruptly ends the work here at the League House for today. But I'd like to end the video on a more serious note. It's not lost on me that while we're recovering from Hurricane Beryl with minimal damage and some minor inconvenience, at the moment I'm putting out this video, millions have been affected by the devastating impact of Hurricane Helene. Having been through the destruction at my own home in Harvey, I know something about what the people of Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, and South Carolina are going through right now. But Harvey wasn't a huge wind event, and while flooding was widespread, after the water receded, it was possible to get in your car and drive just a few miles and find food, water, shelter, whatever you needed. But many of the communities in Helene's path have been decimated. There's nowhere for them to turn, and these people's lives have been irrevocably changed, and it will take years to recover, and some never will. Federal and local governments step in and provide aid, but so much more is needed. If you can find it in your heart and you have the ability, I would strongly encourage you to find a reputable charity that provides disaster relief and make a donation today. So with that, thanks for watching. We're the League-Kempner house in Galveston. Be sure and subscribe so you won't miss a single video as we restore this incredible house to its former glory.